It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of October 1st, 2004. We've got 4 movies to look at, so with that said, let's go ahead and jump on into it, because we have a lot of intriguing stories this week with some of the new releases we have here. Personally, with this next one, because I've talked about it before, but if you haven't heard that, let me go ahead and tell you about the story of Shark Tale.
Let's get this party started! Welcome to a world where the fish are friendly.
We can party like it's your birthday.
And even the biggest sharks have a sensitive side.
I'm a vegetarian.
You're a good person.
From the creators of Shrek, Will Smith, Jack Black, Renee Zellweger.
Somebody needs to get me out of the bubble.
Shark Tale. This film not yet rated. He's a shark.
So Shark Tale was kind of a big deal back then because it was the first computer animated movie from Dreamworks after the Shrek movies. Dreamworks had not... They were establishing themselves as a competitor to Disney, but their really big successes were the Shrek movies at that point, even though stuff like Chicken Run was a success, but Spirit Stallion and Cimarron and Sinbad were both box office bombs, even though they were not bad movies in general, but after Shrek 2, they were moving straight into computer animated movies. So this was kind of a big gamble at the time, especially opening a movie in October, which back then was seen as a dead zone for family films in general, because obviously the kids are back in school. But the story here is that you have an underachieving fish named Oscar, played by Will Smith, who falsely claims to have killed the son of a shark mob boss, played by Robert De Niro, in an attempt to advance his community standing. Oscar teams up with the mobster's young son, played by Jack Black, to keep up the facade. And on paper, the movie doesn't look bad, but once you see the movie and see how badly animated it is, it takes it to a whole nother level. But you're probably wondering why I have such a personal hatred to this movie, because I really do not like this movie. This is very high up there with one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I'll get to that in just a second, because there's a lot to delve into with that front, but this is a movie that has a notable history to me. This is a movie that, when I saw it in theaters, I've talked about the story before. This is a movie that I actually broke my pinky finger watching the movie in a theater, and I've done a longer video talking about this as part of the Reviewing Network Live. If you want to go ahead and take a look at that, I'll leave the video for it up in the corner. But a short version, I saw the movie in theaters. I was going up to go to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden, my finger, I guess it got caught in the railing, like in the thing that's holding the railing from the wall to where the railing is at. So I'm walking, and then all of a sudden I trip, and then all of a sudden I didn't realize it at the beginning, but my pinky finger started to swell up, and it took me a while to realize that my finger was broken. This was like halfway through the movie when this happened. So I went to the rest of the movie thinking it wasn't a big deal. Left the movie theater, and then I realized that my mother realized, actually, because she was the one that had to come get me at that point, that my finger was broken. And luckily there was a quick little Med Express right across the street from the movie theater. They were able to take care of it pretty quickly, and they gave me a splint. So I spent the next couple of weeks with the splint on my pinky finger, waiting to get better. And I've been lucky enough to have never gone to the emergency room for any big serious injuries, even though before this, 4 years prior, I did get a fishing hook caught in the back of my foot, but that's also in that longer video I was talking about. But yeah, so that's kind of why this movie has kind of a lasting memory to me, because this is a movie I literally broke my pinky finger on, and didn't realize it until I got out of the theater. And luckily, as you can see, no problems whatsoever after 20 years, so yeah, it was a really, really odd situation that happened on that front, but yeah, so that's kind of why I've had a bad experience with this movie in particular, but not just because of what happened with my finger, but the movie itself is pretty bad. I mean, it's a lousy film. The animation overall is really terrible, considering this came from the same people that had just done the Shrek movies. For the animation to be as bad as it is here, it's awe-inspiring how bad the animation is. Not only that, the comedy isn't funny, the story is very generic on a number of different elements. It's just not a good movie whatsoever. It's a lousy film. It was criticized for using Italian-American stereotypes, which, yeah, they're all throughout the movie. The characters aren't memorable. The characters are all detestable. Even the characters you're supposed to like. Like, you're supposed to like Will Smith. You're supposed to like his girlfriend because she's supposed to be the voice of reason. But even she even she is not that good of a character. Angelina Jolie's character is completely wasted. I mean, she's nothing there but a. Imagine Jessica Rabbit, except she didn't have any character or charisma to her whatsoever. That's this character in here. Like, she's straight up working for the bad guys because Oscar rubbed her the wrong way, I guess. That's literally all the reason why she's bothering to even being involved in this movie. But, you know, hey, luckily Jack Black and Angelina Jolie, who are both in this movie, would star in a much better DreamWorks movie about 4 years from now called Kung Fu Panda, which we'll get to that one eventually. But, yeah, the movie is bad. The pop culture references are really bad. Like, they aren't even trying. The movie literally begins with Katie Curran. You know, Katie Curran, get it? And then they do a whole thing where it's just like, Russell Crowfish, Jessica Shrimpson. Like, it's about as bad of a CG animated movie as you can get. I mean, it's the first real bad CG animated movie. Nothing about it works. It's not funny. It's not clever. The animation is terrible. The story is a mess. Not a good movie. Just not a good movie. And nothing of value to it whatsoever. It is high up there in my worst movies of all time list. Not just because of what happened with me in the theater, but just because the movie itself was just so terrible. I mean, it has not held up well in the 20 years since it's been released, unfortunately. So, yeah, I would say skip this one. But good news is that DreamWorks would rebound quickly with their next movie, Madagascar, but we will wait until the summer to get to that one. But until then, we move on to our next movie, a much better movie that has held up very well after 20 years. John Travolta and Joaquin Phoenix in the firefighter drama, Ladder 49.
People are always asking me, how is it that firefighters run into a burning building when everyone else is running out? Courage is the answer.
Probationary firefighter Jack Morrison reporting, sir.
How you feeling, kid?
We have a thing here. A priest comes around twice a year. We all go to confession. And this job you need it.
Bless me, Father, for I've sinned.
Impure thoughts?
Well, yes, quite a bit.
You think it's funny to be with those women?
These are the men of Ladder 49.
This station is the most disciplined firehouse in the city.
Nice one, guys.
Everyday heroes
I'm proud of you, baby.
devoted to their families.
You ever consider babysitting full time?
What do you think I'd do at the firehouse?
And dedicated to saving the lives of strangers.
Grab her leg!
Come on.
I got something.
Good job. Do you still love the job like you used to? You've been through some bad fires. Seen a lot of buddies hurt.
Hey, just stay calm, okay?
Saying I should get out of the firehouse. I'm saying that you should ask yourself that question.
I don't want you to get her head.
Guys, we got one.
But when you risk your life for a living,
I'm on location, assuming command. We got a 20-story building. Could be explosions anywhere, anytime.
everything can change in a flash.
Evacuate now! I'm not leaving till you leave! One of our guys went missing. Jack Morrison, Ladder 49. Get in there and find him. Come on, let's go!
Cap, it's too late to save me. Get everybody out.
Hold tight, we're coming in after you.
Trouble in driver muffler.
Jack, you keep going, just keep going. Get the door!
Ladder 49.
This is a movie that has held up surprisingly well in the 20 years since it's been released. And coincidentally, it came out around the same time as that great Dennis Leary show, Rescue Me on FX, which was on for a number of years. It was actually a really good show that I don't think really gets as much of a good attention I think it deserves. I mean, it was a hit show when it came out, but it's really kind of gone by the wayside in the years since it's been off the air. But that show's still great after all these years. This is a really good movie that has held up very well after all these years. You have Joaquin Phoenix as a Baltimore firefighter who's trapped inside of a warehouse fire and his recollection of the events that got him to this point. John Travolta is the person who plays his superior in the movie. You also have a cast that includes Morris Chestnut, Robert Patrick, Balthazar Getty, Billy Burke, Jacinda Barrett, Jay Hernandez. Really good cast in general here, and the movie really is a good fun, a good action, a good drama in general. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Backdraft, which came out about over 10 years prior to this. But Backdraft, Ladder 49 have a lot of very different, similar aspects to them, except that one's more star-studded, has more of a longevity to it, like in terms of its runtime and all that. This one runs at an evenly paced film. It's just a little bit under 2 hours long, and it definitely delivers with both Joaquin Phoenix and John Travolta giving these really solid performances. The fire scenes in here are very cool to watch. You can tell that they used a lot of practical effects in this movie. And it's a very good, engaging film in general, where you're watching this guy who was just trying to survive in this situation here, even though he really doesn't want to. There's a part in there where he really sees that he's suffering through a lot of traumatic experiences from a number of different things that have happened over the course of his life. And it's an interesting character study in general, and really shows what Joaquin Phoenix would eventually do with his career going forward, because he would do Walk the Line, of course, and then he won the Oscar for Joker 15 years later. It's a really good movie that I don't think gets the proper respect it deserves. It's a really good film, really cool fire sequences all around, and two really solid performances with John Travolta and Joaquin Phoenix working very well together. It's one that doesn't get enough attention. I think it's a very good film that definitely deserves a lot more attention. Definitely seek it out. Ladder 49 is definitely a film that I do recommend checking out. So let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is T.D. Jakes' Women Thou Art Lucid.
That hit you so hard that you can't. You know, I wish I had a witness. Does anybody know what it's like to go through something and you can't get home?
I think we give her far too much credit.
No. People underestimate him.
Just when T.D. Jakes thought he was going to take over the world with his movies, 6 months later, Tyler Perry began his reign, and somewhere T.D. Jakes is kicking himself in the foot for not putting out more of his movies out there like Tyler Perry does. But of course, Tyler Perry had the more successful films, and is still continuing to have success nowadays. But then again, T.D. Jakes had a couple movies that have done pretty well for the big screen. I really like Jumpin' the Broom, which came out about 10 years after this. But would you also believe that this is from the same director that did stuff like Cooley High, Car Wash, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, The Last Dragon, Crush Groove, Disorderlies? Same director, completely different movie than any of those other movies we've mentioned here. But this is based off the self-help novel by T.D. Jakes, and it follows the story of a young woman played by Kimberly Elise, who must come to terms with a long history of sexual abuse, drug addiction, and poverty. It has been reported that the story was loosely based on the screenwriter's past relationship with a college girlfriend, and there was actually, speaking of Tyler Perry, there was a gospel stage play written, directed, and produced by Tyler Perry that actually preceded the film. And that's really all I know about the movie in general. Also, I know that Loretta Devine is in here. I usually like seeing her in anything. Clifton Powell, Michael Boatman from Arliss and Spin City. That's pretty much about it, because honestly, I have not seen this movie. I like the people involved in it, so there's a possibility that this could actually be something worth watching. But yeah, I've never seen the movie before, which is kind of a rarity nowadays, because it seems like I've seen most of the movies that we talk about on here, and then we get to something like this where I know it existed, I just never really had the interest of watching it in general. So I can't really say anything about the movie. It's got mixed reviews in general, nothing that really says I gotta see the movie for this reason or that. But it did lead to a sequel later on down the road, so I guess there is that. But besides that, though, there's really not much more I can really add to this, because, like I said, I haven't seen it, so I can't really say if it's good or not. But did well enough to get a sequel, so there's at least that. But with that said, let us move on to the last movie, a movie I have seen, and that is David O. Russell's I Heart Huckabees.
Called I Heart Huckabees, funny, touching, and a thinking man's movie.
Wait, what does that even mean?
With witty writing and stylistic verbs.
Jesus has never mad at us if we live with him in our hearts.
I hate to break it to you, but he is. He most definitely is.
It's a one-of-a-kind original with a cast of the highest order. Dustin Hoffman, Isabelle Huppert, Jude Law, Jason Schwartzman, Lily Tomlin, Mark Wahlberg, Naomi Watts. I Heart Huckabees, rated R. Starts Friday, October 1st in select theaters.
Ah, yes, the happy-go-lucky movie that has absolutely no controversies behind it whatsoever.
Fuck you, motherfucker! Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you!
Absolutely no controversies whatsoever.
I'm just trying to fucking help, you understand me? I'm being a fucking collaborator. I'm just trying to help you figure out the fucking thing. Hey, bitch, I'm not here to be fucking yelled at. I worked on this through. Well, I'm trying to fucking help you, bitch. Figure it out yourself. Yeah, fuck yourself. Why don't you fuck your whole movie? Why don't you fuck your whole movie? Because that's what you're doing.
No controversies whatsoever. I think you all know the story behind this movie, but of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or what those clips were about, in 2007, which is trying to make this one of the first viral videos to really break out, honestly, there was 2 videos leaked onto YouTube portraying on-set arguments between David O. Russell and Lily Tomlin, and when she was asked about the videos, Lily Tomlin basically said, "I love David. There was a lot of pressures of making the movie. Even the way it came out, you could see it was a very free, associative, creative movie, crazy movie, with David under a tremendous amount of pressure, and he's a very free-form kind of guy anyway." Which makes sense, because around the time, he was hitting a writer's block. He couldn't figure out how to make the film work. He was also called for jury duty around the time the movie came out, after which he had to stop writing the film. And you could pretty much tell that that was kind of the problems from the get-go. But then again, David O. Russell has had that kind of bad history with a lot of his movies. 3 Kings, he got into arguments with George Clooney, supposedly. And there was that stretch after this movie came out when he was making movies like The Fighter and Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle, which were all critically and commercially successful movies that you thought that period of time was over, but then you find out that David O. Russell kind of has gone back to that thing where, bottom line, David O. Russell seems like kind of a douchebag in person in real life, but I've never worked on one of his movies before, so I can't really know for certain, but yeah, this movie certainly is a movie that has a lot of problems to it. It's described as a existential comedy where you follow a pair of detectives, played by Lily Tomlin and Dustin Hoffman. They're hired to investigate the meaning of life of their clients, Jude Law, Jason Schwartzman, Mark Wahlberg, Naomi Watts. As the different investigations cross paths, their rival and nemesis, Isabella Huppert, tries to drag their clients into her own views on the meaning of their lives. And it's a movie that feels very pretentious. Yeah, they've got all these big names in here. Dustin Hoffman, Isabella Huppert, Jude Law, which I think we're now at either 2 or 3 films with him in 2004. He made a lot of movies in 2004. Jason Schwartzman, Lily Tomlin, like I said, Mark Wahlberg, Naomi Watts. Jonah Hill has one of his first feature appearances in this in a minor role. You also got Tippi Hedren, Talia Shire, Shania Twain, Jane Smart, Bob Gunton, Richard Jenkins, Darlene Hunt. So a lot of names in the movie. A lot of good ideas in general. Just not the right execution and all. It's a movie that feels like, you could definitely feel like David O. Russell was very unfocused while making this movie in general. It felt like a film that, like I mentioned before, all the problems he was having there, and it really let out on that set with Lily Tomlin, and you could just see the stress and all that, and it's no wonder why he took a break after this. I mean, he didn't make another movie until The Fighter, and then, he's all of a sudden went back on track and made some 3 really good movies around that point with that movie, Silver Linings Playbook, and not American Hustle, because I really don't like that movie all that much. But Joy, I thought, was a good movie though. But yeah, you get the idea here. David O. Russell has been a very roller coaster of a career. I Heart Huckabees feels like the movie that kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back, just like kind of how Amsterdam's kind of like the film that broke the second camel's back for him, because that movie was a huge flop. It was one of the worst movies of 2022, and it's kind of very similar to I Heart Huckabees in a way. It's got all these people involved, a very unfocused storyline here. It has no idea what it really wants to be like, and what the purpose of existence is, and that's what it feels like with this movie here. You can't really tell why he made this movie. What's the point? Like, what's the end result of this whole thing? And you never figure it out in this movie, and despite all the good talent involved here, it's just not enough to save the movie in the long run. It's a really, really disappointing film from a director that was really starting to come into his own, and then he had this right here where he was just in a situation where, like, all these different things were going on, and it really affected the final product when it was all said and done. Just not a good movie. Just not a very good film, but those moments but those bloopers it's not good if those outtakes there are much more memorable than the movie itself.
You're a fucking grown-up. Act like a grown-up. You're not a baby. You're a fucking grown-up. I'm here to fucking help you. That's all I was doing, trying to help you figure out everything. What else you know? What else you know? You like yelling? Do I not fucking yell at you before?
And so with that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll take a look at 3 more movies, including Billy Bob Thornton in the sports drama Friday Night Lights. We have Queen Latifah and Jimmy Fallon in his first film after leaving Saturday Night Live, Taxi. and also Hilary Duff in Raise Your Voice. So we'll take a look at those 3 films on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So don't go too far away, because coming up on Time About the Movies Flashback, we're wrapping up 1988 with the 1988 leftovers. I've got the list here. A lot of movies to look at, including Daffy Duck's Quackbusters, a lot of the Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10 movies, Alien from LA with Kathy Ireland, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. We have a lot of films to look at on Time About the Movies Flashback, and that'll be the season finale of that show coming up in just a little bit after this, so stick around.